Hello.
Most toys are made to speak. They chatter on command. They repeat what they are taught. Bright voices, practiced laughter, sounds meant to comfort the living. Some toys are made to listen. They do not interrupt. They do not forget. They sit in corners long after the lights go out, gathering what the room leaves behind. Breaths held too long. Words swallowed instead of spoken. The small, careful sounds children make when they believe no one is paying attention. The Beyonder Responder, the Intercom of the Dead, case number B63990. Tonight's case does not begin with violence. There are no screams, no sudden movements, no struggle. It begins with a pause, a moment where a child realizes the silence feels different, heavier, as if the dark itself has leaned closer. It begins with a question, not asked loudly, not asked bravely, but offered, soft and hopeful, into the space beside the bed. A child's question, whispered into the dark, to something that has already been listening.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
This is the true case file. This is the Beyonder Responder, also known in recovered notes, the Intercom of the Dead. Purchased from a private collector. Object type, short-range communicator. Plastic housing with wired handset. Estimated manufacture, early to mid 1960s. Current location, private museum collection. Restricted storage, not on public display. Because this object does not merely transmit sound, it answers. Warning: this presentation contains sensitive material involving children and is intended for mature audiences. The camp counselors arrived early at the camp on Sequoia Lake. The morning mist still clung to the water, drifting low and silent between the towering trees. The cabins stood where they always had, unchanged, patient, their windows dark and unreflective, as if still asleep. No birds called. No insects stirred. Even the lake, wide and black beneath the pines, showed no ripple. No sign of life moving beneath its surface. The camp counselor's pets ran to the water's edge. The old retriever, typically eager to splash into any water, stopped short at the lake's edge. Curious, yet unwilling to wade in. Right beside him was the orange and white striped cat, usually fearless, crouched low, staring at the water's dark surface, as though it sensed something lurking beneath, unseen. campers settled into their bunks, the cabin quiet and untroubled. Until the night grew deeper, the air heavier, thicker. And something became aware of the campers' arrival.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Static crackled, thick and wet, like breath dragged through water. The voice was a boy's, thin, hopeful, stretched tight by distance, as though it had traveled a very long way to reach them. The children froze in their bunks. Blankets rustled. Springs creaked. A nervous laugh collapsed into silence. Someone whispered, barely audible.
Counselor?
The voice returned, closer now, intimate, almost relieved.
I'm so glad you answered. I've been so alone.
That was when they realized the sound wasn't coming from the doorway, not from the trees outside, not from the shadows pooled between the bunks. It was coming from the intercom toy sitting forgotten in the corner. One of the old plastic models with twin responders, meant for children to communicate. Across rooms, a novelty, a game. Its once bright red buttons were dulled. The cord lay coiled beneath it like a dead snake. It wasn't plugged in. There was no reason, no right, for it to be alive. The children stared at the toy, then at each other. The intercom hummed softly, as if pleased to be noticed.
You're awake.
The boy's voice said.
That's good. Nighttime is when it's easiest to talk.
Something stretched beneath the static, something that did not belong to a human throat. One of the younger boys slid out of his bunk, trembling.
This isn't funny.
He whispered.
You're not supposed to prank people after lights out.
The intercom clicked.
I'm not joking.
The voice replied.
I don't know how to joke anymore.
The bravest boy, the one who never cried, stepped forward. His thumb hovered over the button. He lifted the handset.
Who is this?
He asked. Static swallowed the question. Then, beneath the hiss, one name forced its way through.
Arthur.
Seconds later, the counselors burst in. Flashlights cut the dark apart. The beam hit the intercom. The speaker died instantly. Cold, silent, harmless. No wires unplugged. No questions asked. They left. The voice vanished. The next night, it spoke again. Only this time, it used names.
Evan,
It whispered.
you're still awake. You always are.
Evan had told no one he couldn't sleep. The intercom spoke slowly now, deliberately.
I don't hear you when you cry. I do.
It never spoke when adults were near. It waited. The voice grew stronger, less fragile. It stopped pretending to be lost.
They're still here,
It said one night.
the ones who listened before you.
Shadows pooled where light could not reach. Hunched shapes with hollow faces and open mouths. Then the dreams followed. Evan dreamt of a shed by the lake. Rusted locks. A small hand wrapped around a microphone. Then the water dreams started. Water rising. Screams swallowed by static.
I had a name once.
The voice said.
But names don't follow you past the wires.
The intercom began to ask for things. Small things at first.
Evan, turn the dial. Press the red button. Don't tell them I spoke. They'll take me away.
It rewarded obedience. The static softened, a warm hum, as if something inside was breathing easier. Then the requests changed.
Unlock the door. Go outside. Bring me closer to the lake.
The speaker blazed to life. The voice was no longer singular. It was layered, crowded, threaded with whispers beneath whispers.
It's time.
It said,
I've waited long enough. They locked me in. But you won't do that to me, will you?
The red button pressed itself down. Somewhere between the static, a child began to cry. And somewhere beneath the lake, something stirred in answer. Sequoia Lake has a long and documented history of drownings and disappearances. The water is deceptively calm, fed by cold mountain runoff, riddled with sudden drop-offs. One incident appears repeatedly in both camp folklore and archival records. Arthur Staton, 1910. A young boy. Who wandered from a nearby camp and drowned. His body was not recovered for several days. The Beyonder responder was recovered from a defunct summer camp abandoned in the late 1960s. Official records cite flooding and structural damage. Unofficially, the camp was evacuated overnight. Personal belongings left behind. No fatalities recorded. No children returned. The intercom was salvaged from cabin 8. During transport, the collector reported persistent interference. It sounded like kids whispering through a speaker that wasn't hooked to anything. Entity identification, post-analysis. The voice presents as a lost child. Investigators agree this is a lure. The object functions as an anchor, a responder for the drowned. The entity does not speak directly. It answers. It preserves voices as echoes, wears them like masks. It calls for more. It identifies itself indirectly.
I was the voice between. I always answered. Now I reach beyond.
Long before the camp, the lake was known for answering back. The Yokits people avoided its depths. They spoke of a presence where sound did not die, only descended. They called it Kathunne, he who listens beneath. Not a spirit of water, but something older. Drowning was not death. It was answering a call. A voice fell into the water and learned how to stay. Breath drifted away first. Sound followed, delayed. Names sank like stones, where the cold runs deep. But longing stayed floating, too heavy to sleep. Children speak into darkness, because darkness will hear. It leans in the silence. It lingers too near. Some voices don't beg to be saved or pulled through. They ask for a presence, a someone, a you. And when you answer, you're not dragged below. They show you the path only listeners know. They don't pull you under. They don't force or confine. They teach you, quite gently, how to cross the last line. Sequoia Lake never showed what it took. It only reflected what remained. If you find yourself near still water that feels too dark, too patient, do not call out. Do not wait for an answer. Some places do not echo. They listen. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe for more upcoming True Case files. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Hello? Is there somebody there? Can you hear me?